The dark side of archaeology. Discoveries intentionally hidden from the public. Have you ever had the feeling that you are not being told the whole truth about our past? That the history we learn in school is a carefully selected and sanitized version of what really happened? Before we begin, I have a question for you. What is the one historical mystery you would love to know the answer to? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're down there, make sure you subscribe to Whispered Unknown and hit that notification bell, because you are not going to want to miss what we have in store for you. The official story of human history is a neat and tidy one. We evolved from apes, learned to make tools, built civilizations, and eventually landed on the moon. But what if there is another, much older and far more mysterious story that has been deliberately hidden from us? A story of advanced ancient civilizations, of technologies that should not have existed, and of beings that defy our understanding of the human race. This is the dark side of archaeology, a realm of forbidden knowledge where discoveries that could rewrite our history books are not celebrated, but suppressed. Imagine a world where giants roamed the earth, where ancient Egyptians sailed to the Americas thousands of years before Columbus, and where our ancestors possessed a knowledge of science and engineering that we are only just beginning to understand. This is not the stuff of fantasy or science fiction. It is the world that is suggested by a vast and growing body of evidence that has been systematically ignored, dismissed, and in some cases, actively concealed by the very institutions we trust to tell us the truth about our past. Tonight, we are going to pull back the curtain on this world of suppressed archaeology. We are going to examine the discoveries that have been deemed too controversial, too challenging to the established narrative to be shared with the public. We will journey from the dusty archives of the Smithsonian Institution to the remote corners of the globe, in search of the artifacts and the evidence that they do not want you to see. So, turn off the lights, settle in, and prepare to have your understanding of human history shattered. The truth is out there, but you have to know where to look. One of the most persistent and unsettling rumors in the world of forbidden archaeology is that the Smithsonian Institution, one of the most respected scientific establishments in the world, has been involved in a massive cover-up of evidence for the existence of giants in ancient America. The story goes that throughout the 19th and early 20th centuries, thousands of giant skeletons, some measuring up to 12 feet tall, were unearthed from burial mounds and ancient sites across the United States. These discoveries were widely reported in local newspapers at the time, but then, mysteriously, the skeletons vanished. According to many researchers who have delved into this topic, the skeletons were confiscated by the Smithsonian and were never seen again. The motive for this alleged cover-up is said to be the protection of the established theory of human evolution and the narrative of Native American history. The existence of a race of giants in ancient America would throw a wrench into the neat and tidy story that we are told in our history books. It would raise uncomfortable questions about who these giants were, where they came from, and what happened to them. One of the most famous cases of a suppressed giant discovery is that of the Lovelock Cave in Nevada. In the early 20th century, miners discovered a cave filled with thousands of ancient artifacts, including the mummified remains of what were described as red-haired giants. Some of these remains were said to be over 8 feet tall. The discovery was reported in several newspapers, but the remains, like so many others, mysteriously disappeared after they were allegedly taken into the custody of mainstream institutions. Another intriguing case is that of the giant skeletons found in the Spiro Mounds in Oklahoma in the 1930s. These mounds, built by a sophisticated Native American culture, were found to contain the remains of individuals who were described as being of exceptional height, some reaching 7 or 8 feet tall. Once again, these skeletons were reportedly sent to institutions for study and then vanished from the public record. The stories are numerous and come from all corners of the country. Giant skeletons found in burial mounds in Ohio, in caves in West Virginia, and in ancient tombs in Arizona. In each case, the pattern is the same. A remarkable discovery is made, it is reported locally, and then the evidence disappears. So, what is the truth behind these stories? Are they simply the product of overactive imaginations and sensationalized newspaper reporting? Or is there a genuine conspiracy to hide the evidence of a lost race of giants? Those who believe in the cover-up point to the sheer volume of reports from the 19th and early 20th centuries. They argue that it is statistically improbable that all of these reports could be hoaxes or misidentifications. They also point to the fact that Native American oral traditions are filled with stories of giants who once inhabited the land. These stories, which were passed down for generations, speak of a time when a race of giant humans, often described as being fierce and powerful, roamed the Americas. Skeptics, on the other hand, argue that there is no credible scientific evidence to support the existence of giants. They claim that the newspaper reports from the 19th and early 20th centuries are unreliable and often exaggerated. They also suggest that some of the giant skeletons that were found may have been the remains of individuals with medical conditions that caused them to grow to an unusual height, or that they were simply misinterpretations of animal bones. As for the Native American legends, skeptics dismiss them as myths and folklore. But the question remains, if there is no truth to the stories of giants, then why do these legends persist? And why are there so many reports of giant skeletons being found and then disappearing? Could it be that the Smithsonian and other institutions are hiding something? Could it be that they are afraid of the implications of such a discovery? The existence of giants would not only challenge our understanding of human evolution, but it would also force us to reconsider the entire history of the Americas. It would mean that there was another, much older and far more mysterious civilization that existed on this continent long before the arrival of the people we know as Native Americans. The mystery of the giants is just one of many secrets that are said to be hidden within the dark side of archaeology. Another is the evidence for pre-Columbian transoceanic contact. The official story is that Christopher Columbus was the first person from the Old World to reach the Americas in 1492. But what if this is not true? What if there is evidence that ancient civilizations from Europe, Asia, and Africa were visiting the Americas thousands of years before Columbus? This is the controversial theory of pre-Columbian transoceanic contact, and it is a theory that is supported by a surprising amount of evidence. From ancient maps that seem to show the Americas long before they were officially discovered, to the discovery of Old World artifacts in New World archaeological sites, the evidence for pre-Columbian contact is compelling and varied. One of the most famous pieces of evidence is the Piri Reis map, a mysterious map that was created by a Turkish admiral in 1513. The map is remarkable because it appears to show the coastline of South America with incredible accuracy, at a time when the continent was largely unexplored. What is even more astonishing is that the map also seems to show the coastline of Antarctica, a continent that was not officially discovered until 1820. How could Piri Reis have known about Antarctica in 1513? Some researchers believe that he had access to much older maps that were created by an ancient seafaring civilization that had explored the entire globe. Another piece of evidence that is often cited is the discovery of Roman artifacts in the Americas. In 1933, a small terracotta head, which was later identified as being Roman, was found in a pre-Columbian tomb in Mexico. The head was found in a sealed burial layer that dated to a time long before the arrival of Columbus. How did a Roman artifact end up in a pre-Columbian tomb in Mexico? The official explanation is that it was a hoax, but many researchers believe that it is genuine evidence of Roman contact with the Americas. There are also numerous other examples of out-of-place artifacts that have been found in the Americas, including ancient Hebrew coins, Egyptian statues, and even Chinese pottery. Each of these discoveries, on its own, could be dismissed as a hoax or a misidentification. But when you look at all of the evidence together, it begins to paint a very different picture of our past. It suggests that the oceans were not barriers, but highways, and that ancient civilizations were far more interconnected than we have been led to believe. So why is this evidence suppressed? Why is the theory of pre-Columbian transoceanic contact so controversial? The answer once again may lie in the desire to protect the established historical narrative. The story of Columbus discovering the Americas is a cornerstone of Western history. It is a story that has been told for centuries, and it is a story that is deeply ingrained in our culture. To admit that Columbus was not the first would be to admit that our history books are wrong. It would also be to admit that we have underestimated the capabilities of ancient civilizations. But the evidence for pre-Columbian contact is not just a threat to our history books. It is also a threat to the idea of cultural evolution, the idea that civilizations develop in isolation from one another. The theory of pre-Columbian contact suggests that there was a global exchange of ideas and technologies in the ancient world, and that civilizations did not develop in a vacuum. This is a radical idea, and it is an idea that many in the academic establishment are not yet ready to accept. But the evidence continues to mount, and with each new discovery, it becomes harder and harder to ignore the possibility that our history is not what we think it is. The story of our past is not a simple linear progression from primitive to advanced. Fate is a complex and mysterious tapestry, woven with threads of forgotten civilizations, lost technologies, and secret histories. And it is a story that is still waiting to be told. In addition to the evidence for giants and pre-Columbian contact, there is also a vast and growing body of evidence for the existence of advanced ancient technologies. We are taught that our ancestors were primitive and that they lacked the scientific and engineering knowledge that we have today. But what if this is not true? What if ancient civilizations possessed a level of technological sophistication that we are only just beginning to understand? This is the world of out-of-place artifacts, a world of objects that seem to defy our understanding of the past. These are artifacts that are so technologically advanced that they should not exist in the time period in which they were found. They are artifacts that challenge our assumptions about the capabilities of ancient civilizations and that suggest that our ancestors may have been far more advanced than we have been led to believe. One of the most famous out-of-place artifacts is the Antikythera mechanism, a complex astronomical calculator that was discovered in a Roman-era shipwreck off the coast of Greece. The device, which dates back to the 2nd century BC, is made of bronze and contains a complex system of gears and dials. It is so sophisticated that it has been called the world's first analog computer. The Antikythera mechanism was used to predict astronomical positions and eclipses for calendrical and astrological purposes. The complexity and precision of the device are astonishing, and it suggests that the ancient Greeks had a far greater understanding of astronomy and mechanics than we have ever given them credit for. Another baffling out-of-place artifact is the Baghdad battery, a set of 3 artifacts which were found together in a village near Baghdad, Iraq. The artifacts consist of a ceramic pot, a copper tube, and an iron rod. When these 3 components are assembled, they form a galvanic cell that is capable of producing a small electric current. The Baghdad battery dates back to the Parthian period, which means that it is over 2,000 years old. What were the ancient Parthians doing with a battery? Some researchers believe that they may have used it for electroplating, a process of coating one metal with another. Others have suggested that it may have been used for medicinal purposes. Whatever its purpose, the Baghdad battery is a clear indication that our ancestors had a knowledge of electricity long before it was officially discovered in the 18th century. But perhaps the most controversial out-of-place artifacts are the Ica stones, a collection of thousands of engraved stones that were found in a cave in Peru. The stones are engraved with images that seem to depict a lost world. There are images of dinosaurs coexisting with humans, of advanced surgical procedures, and of what appear to be flying machines. The Ica stones are so controversial that they have been dismissed as a hoax by the mainstream archaeological community. But those who have studied the stones believe that they are genuine and that they provide a glimpse into a forgotten chapter of human history. So what are we to make of these out-of-place artifacts? Are they simply hoaxes and misinterpretations? Or are they genuine evidence of a lost, high-tech civilization? The academic establishment would have us believe that they are the former. They argue that there is no credible evidence to support the existence of advanced ancient technologies, and that the out-of-place artifacts are simply the product of wishful thinking and pseudoscience. But the number of out-of-place artifacts continues to grow, and with each new discovery, it becomes harder and harder to dismiss the possibility that our ancestors were far more advanced than we have been led to believe. The evidence suggests that there may have been a golden age of technology in the ancient world, a time when our ancestors possessed a knowledge of science and engineering that was later lost. Why was this knowledge lost? Some researchers believe that it was lost in a global cataclysm, a great flood, or a series of earthquakes that destroyed the advanced civilizations of the ancient world. Others believe that the knowledge was deliberately suppressed by a powerful elite who wanted to keep it for themselves. Whatever the reason, the fact remains that there is a great deal of evidence to suggest that our history is not what we think it is. We have been taught to believe that we are the pinnacle of human achievement, that we are the most technologically advanced civilization that has ever existed. But what if this is not true? What if we are just now beginning to rediscover the knowledge that was lost thousands of years ago? This is a humbling thought, and it is a thought that has the potential to change the way we see ourselves and our place in the universe. The dark side of archaeology is a world of secrets, a world where the truth is often stranger than fiction. It is a world where discoveries that could rewrite our history books are not celebrated, but suppressed. We have explored the evidence for giants in ancient America, for pre-Columbian transoceanic contact, and for advanced ancient technologies. Each of these topics on its own is enough to challenge our understanding of the past. But when you look at all of the evidence together, it begins to paint a very different picture of our history. It is a picture of a world that was far more complex and mysterious than we have ever been told. It is a world of lost civilizations, of forgotten technologies, and of secret histories. And it is a world that is slowly but surely being brought to light by a dedicated group of researchers who are not afraid to challenge the established narrative. So why is this knowledge being suppressed? Why are the institutions that we trust to tell us the truth about our past so reluctant to acknowledge the evidence that contradicts the official story? There are many possible answers to this question. Some believe that it is a matter of academic pride. The idea that our history books are wrong is a difficult one for many scholars to accept. They have built their careers on the established narrative, and they are not willing to give it up easily. Others believe that the suppression of this knowledge is a matter of social control. The story of our past is a powerful tool for shaping our present and our future. If we believe that we are the most advanced civilization that has ever existed, then we are more likely to be complacent and to accept the status quo. But if we learn that there were other, equally advanced civilizations that have come and gone, then we are more likely to question our own society and to strive for a better future. And then there are those who believe that the suppression of this knowledge is a matter of national security. The idea that there may have been a global civilization in the ancient world, a civilization with advanced technology, is a frightening one for some people. It raises questions about who these people were, what they were capable of, and what happened to them. And it raises the possibility that there may be other, more powerful forces at work in the universe than we are aware of. Whatever the reason, the fact remains that there is a great deal of evidence to suggest that our history is not what we think it is. The dark side of archaeology is a vast and largely unexplored territory, and it is a territory that is filled with secrets that are waiting to be discovered. The truth is out there, but it is not going to be handed to us on a silver platter. We have to be willing to do our own research, to ask our own questions, and to challenge the official story. The next time you visit a museum or read a history book, remember that you are only being told part of the story. There is another, much older and far more mysterious story that has been deliberately hidden from you. And it is a story that has the power to change the way you see the world. So keep an open mind, keep asking questions, and never stop searching for the truth. Because the truth is the only thing that can set us free. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the dark side of archaeology. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to Whispered Unknown and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration of the strange and the unexplained. Until next time, stay curious.